Hey, this is Mark. I'm at the Great Lakes Comic Con. I'm here with Mark Hodges. He's the promoter of the Grand Rapids Comic Con. Sounds sort of similar to this one, but tell us a little bit about your show coming up and the guests.
First of all, hi kids. The next show is April 14 through 16. We had to move for 1 year because we're waiting for a new building to get built in Grand Rapids. So we're at the Kalamazoo Expo Center in Kalamazoo for 1 year. And the guest list is pretty cool. I mean, you guys are comic guys, so the big one, Jim Steranko, is going to be there. And that's a very rare appearance now, considering he's up there in years. And another big one for comic guests, Yuji Kaida. For the last 42 years, he was Toho's concept artist. So every Godzilla film you've seen over the last 4 decades, he designed the kaiju.
That is awesome.
It's cool. So, and a couple guests from Star Trek Deep Space Nine and the 4 leads from Death Note.
Well, that's exciting to hear. Tell us a little bit about some of the events you got coming up at the show.
Well, I mean, you have the usual vendor hall stuff, and we're doing a Best of Film Festival, the 10 years, because we've been doing a film festival since 2014, and the 10 years of winners are all going to be shown in one film festival. So it's the very best of the best of what we've shown over the years. So that's pretty neat. And the gaming rooms and Artist Alley and all the programming and all that kind of stuff you would expect at most shows.
So tell us, what's the difference between the spring show and the fall show?
The spring show is a little more streamlined. It's a little smaller of an event. The guest list is a little shorter, but it's also a lot cheaper. Vendors get a booth for $300, which is really cheap for a Comic-Con. And, family tickets on Saturday are $29. Kids are $5. So it's a lot more economical. And then, of course, you add in the free parking, and the food is really inexpensive. That's going to be really nice for the families who attend the show because, let's just be honest. You get into some of these bigger shows like we do. I'll use us as an example. You got bordering $40 tickets for mom, dad, and then you got, say, 2 teenagers. You're in $160 before you've walked in the door. Then you got to spend $15 or more at some shows to park the car. And a pop is $6 and a hot dog is $6, and and you haven't spent any money yet. And this show is a bit more economical, but we still give you a good guest list. We just a little more bang for the buck in terms of the guest list. The major guests at the comic end is not a ton of people, but Steranko and Yuji Kaida. I mean, what more do you want out of me? I mean, that's 2 of the most influential artists of the last 50 years.
Now, did Yuji Kaida have anything to do with Ultraman?
I don't think he had a lot to do with Ultraman, but we do have the original Ultraman coming, Vin Furua. And also, if you're an original anime fan, this is a treat. Marie Shimizu, I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. She was the original voice of Astro Boy in 1963. So she was the lead of what everyone considers the very first anime show. So this is OG. When I say OG anime, we're not kidding. This is OG anime and her first appearance anywhere in North America.
Now,
that is pretty neat.
I like to bring up 2 guests that I would love to interview, and that would be Andrew Robinson and Jeffrey Combs, who are they're also icons of horror from the 80s. Jeffrey Combs of Reanimator from Beyond, Andrew Robinson from Hellraiser.
Absolutely.
So I can't wait to see that. Tell us a little bit about how you got those guys.
Well, there are agencies out there that you call to book stuff, and we used a horror agency a couple years ago because we sort of started experimenting with doing a little more horror. And, it was a little of a concern because we advertise ourselves as a very PG show, and then you're doing a lot of guests from R-rated movies. But a lot of them, they have very nice, very clean presentations. And, let's be honest, there's a lot of kids watching Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers flicks. I mean, it's just the brutal truth. Whether people want to admit it or not, they're watching those movies. They might be watching them after mom and dad have gone to bed, and they're sneaking under the sheets to watch.
And they're so accessible now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all you got to do is click on Netflix or Hulu or whoever's carrying them, and boom, they're done. Heck, there's even, Shudder TV, which is all horror movies. And a lot of families subscribe to that. And there's not very much PG Disney material on that network, So, yeah, but I mean, we booked them mostly. It was They actually both came through one came through a horror agency called Convention All Stars, which is Sean Clark. He's a major agent specifically in horror. And the other one was booked, which would be Andrew Robinson, was directly through Star Trek. Because we did last year, we did a last-minute panel with Edu Belcom, who is the mastermind behind the new Wolfpack show on Paramount Plus, which has Sarah Michelle Gellar in it. And that show, I knew that was important because we were working with Paramount Plus directly. And we wanted to bring in more Star Trek guests, but outside of Paramount, you can't book much of it. You know, most of it's all through Lolita, who's their booking agent. And but he went home and raved about it to Paramount, that we did a real good job considering it was all literally last minute. We did everything we could on it, and he felt like we did. And then now the floodgates have opened with Paramount Plus to bring in more stuff, and the big thing I wanted was Star Trek.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the November show, which is November 3rd through 5th, we're going to be doing a gathering of guys who are Klingons, which should be a lot of fun. You know?
We'll be hearing a lot of Nekta.
Exactly. Well, we already know we got, and forgive me, I'm drawing a blank in the actors' names, but the actor who played Chancellor Gowron, that's done. You know, he's the face of a million memes. And also the guy who played General Martok.
Okay.
So that's pretty neat. We're looking at a third Klingon, but I'm not sure who it's going to be yet. We're hoping to get Michael Dorn, but I think that's a long shot because, you know.
Christopher Lloyd played Commander Krug from Star Trek 3.
That'd be neat. I haven't thought about that one. Yeah. That'd actually be sort of neat.
He's mostly known for Back to the Future, but, you know, come on, he was a great Klingon.
He was a great Klingon. I mean, you know, another one that was really great was Christopher Plummer in 6.
Oh. Quoting all those Shakespearean lines.
And he was so controlled. That's what made him so neat. It was a controlled, you know, chaos kind of thing, you know, because that's what he wanted. He wanted a war, you know, but he was so controlled over it. It was like you and I talking about what we can eat for breakfast. He's like, how am I going to kill every human, you know? I mean, it was so neat the way that was done. It's just so controlled. I really liked him.
Well, he was a great actor.
Well, he's a great actor, period, but I thought he was a killer Klingon. I really did. I thought he was a great Klingon. I would have loved to have seen him do it more.
Anyways, we don't have to take too much of your time, but this is Mark at the Great Lakes Comic Con with Mark Hodges.
Have a great day.